How can I improve my relationships?
Great question. Relationships are all about communication first and foremost. Really get to know the other person, listen to them, really listen to them. Secondly, really consider how you spend your time together. Is it something new, fun, interesting? Lastly, give them room to breathe. They are not the center of your life, just a part of it.
Most of the times, I encounter some kind of conflicts or differences, either cultural or goal oriented. How to overcome such challenges?
Great question. First step definitely sounds like an open and honest conversation where you talk about the differences at hand. Listen to the other side and try to find common ground and a solution you are both comfortable with. If that doesn't work, it is time to consider how important the relationship is to each of you. Are the differences deal breakers, something you want to avoid?
What if the relationship is relatively new and there are good parts to the relationship as well as bad parts or some conflicts to them? In such a situation, what should be the best course of action?
That's a good situation to be in. Relationships are not perfect. It is all about how you navigate those bad parts and make the good parts shine. Are the bad parts deal breaker level stuff or just annoyances?
Sometimes I feel that deal breakers can be due to different cultural assumptions that are not able to easily get clarified.
Is this due to a cultural ethnic difference then? In the end, it's all about communication, and you have to decide for yourself if you want to keep going, even though there are a lot of differences.
Sometimes, what if the person is new in the country and the person may not understand how the culture works? In that situation, how long would be the right amount of time to be patient with such a potential partner?
Great question. It all comes down to time and patience, and also communication and effort on their half to try to understand your culture and the cultural aspects of your country. If you are dating someone who is new to your country and the culture, don't expect them to instantly get it. It takes time. But is a cultural mismatch a deal breaker for you?
Not specifically for me. I'm just asking general questions, and I want to know overall what is the success formula in relationships.
All right. Overall, a general success formula: one, communication always; two, shared goals, life vision; three, understanding and patience; four, time; five, effort by both parties.
Sometimes I've seen that after a few years, many couples get into a situation where they end up in a divorce. Generally, they are having good communication, they are from the same cultural background. In those situations, why do these couples end up with such a major conflict that they need to um, divorce or end their marriage?
I'd say the most main reasons in those situations are either a divergence in life vision, having kids, not having them; moving, not moving; getting a new job, not getting one; major changes in interests; a divergence in values; and often also cheating, infidelity, and abuse. There is usually no one major cause. It's several smaller factors, often the first three in this list, that snowball and lead to divorce.
How come then our humanity as a race is not more accepting of polygamy or some kind of open relationships?
That is an interesting one. It probably comes down to our base instincts, where the only thing that matters is to procreate. This results in our monogamous relationships, where the goal is to have a life partner to raise children with. Some cultures and religions have allowed for having several partners, but it has never been the main relationship style.
Yes, so if having kids is not the priority, then does it not make sense to have some kind of open relationships?
Good question. Not really, because our base needs is still to have one partner that is our life partner to pair with. And as a side note, having several partners can be problematic as it leaves room for jealousy and hurt. And having an open relationship is probably also problematic, as someone in the relationship could develop feelings for their side partner and become less faithful to the main relationship.
Yes, it is very complicated. In such a situation where some partners are very loyal and some partners they want more freedom or they are still in the stage of discovering themselves and exploring their relationship options, what should such a person in such a situation do?
I would say one, do a lot of self exploration, figure out who you are as a person. This takes time and effort. Two, when you have established your personal identity, you can establish your relationship identity. What do you want from a relationship? How do you express love? What are your deal breakers? What life goals does a potential partner have to have? What kinds of activities do you want to do with a partner? Three, figure out whether you want an open relationship or monogamous. Four, do you want kids, marriage?
Generally, a person's life goes from many stages. When they are young, they may want more variety. When they are in their 30s and 40s, they may want to settle down. When they are in their 50s, 60s, they may not want to travel a lot or they may not want to have kids. So, when a person's goals are constantly changing, then how their relationship that they are in should it evolve, or is it better to move on and find new partners who are more compatible with the stages of life that they are in?
Great question. I would say that depends a lot on how much a person changes, how much they change, and how the relationship is. One, small changes are no big problem, but do reevaluate the relationship periodically to check if you are still compatible. Two, big changes are more problematic. If you grow a lot, the relationship may not keep up, and in that case, you may want to reevaluate and potentially break it off, move on. Three, if the relationship is rock solid and the changes are more just adding new activities, the relationship will likely be fine.
In such situations where a person's personality has significantly changed, how come the emotional entanglement is so intense? Why is it that the individuals do not realize that they have changed so significantly and become incompatible that it is better to mutually agree to move on and separate rather than have more conflicts and get into a situation where everything becomes difficult?
Our emotions often do not follow our logical mind's best intentions. We become so attached it's hard to leave. That's why people in love do stupid things all the time. They're acting on emotional impulse, not logic. That's why your emotional brain often doesn't realize you're not compatible anymore when your logical brain does.
What is the impact of society on relationships, especially in Eastern cultures, where marriage is considered the most important aspect of a person's life? In today's Western culture, divorces are common, and marriage is not necessarily the most significant aspect of a person's life. How to navigate such different cultural assumptions and cultural viewpoints on relationships?
That's actually a super cool question. The main impact of societal pressure to keep a marriage together will be that you'll stick with a bad relationship you'd be better off leaving. As for Western culture, divorce is becoming less and less stigmatized, and it's totally fine to not marry if you don't feel like it or feel like you don't want to commit to a single person. How to deal with this? I would say follow your instincts, logic over societal or cultural pressure.
That's true. And those who have followed their own path generally are more happier and have found more satisfaction in their life. They pursue things that are closer to their heart and they also work on their own personal growth.
Totally agree. It's great to have your own vision for life. Follow your own path and don't let others decide for you if you don't agree with them.
Why is it that many people find it difficult to go against the societal structure of relationships rather than following their heart?
A pretty complex question. question. It might be rooted in deep set psychological fears. Some might have been taught that they will always be accepted as they are by friends and family, and therefore feel like if they do something strange, they suddenly will not have support and become alone. It can also be that they feel the pressure from society and do not want to disappoint anyone. Lastly, it can be that they don't know better or know that following your heart's true desire is allowed. Those are my main theories.
When someone falls in love, what are the different stages and what can they do to protect themselves?
I would say this. Stage one, attraction and the honeymoon period. Stage two, the reality period where you get to know the other person's true colors and their flaws. Stage. The comfortable and secure period where your love deepens and you grow together into a routine. Stage four, the growth and learning period where you two learn how to make the relationship work and you grow together. What would you do to protect yourself?
Well, I would say that going slow is a good way of protecting the emotions. When I was younger, I used to rush into relationships. Now I'm more cautious and careful.
You're absolutely right. Going slow is the smart thing to do. You are also right about rushing into a relationship when you're younger and being more cautious and careful now. That's the smart way to go about it. How is the dating life now?
Well, tell me more about the power struggles in relationships. Why do individuals encounter power struggles when both want to be happy?
Individuals encounter power struggles in relationships because of two main reasons. One, having trouble respecting each other and their opinions, ideas. This is a huge problem, and it's important to have patience and respect the other person, even if they're wrong and you're right. Two, having trouble giving each other space. Not everyone needs the same level of space, but everyone needs some space to breathe. A couple where one is clingy and the other likes space will almost always run into power struggles.
What if someone needs a higher level of intimacy, whereas the other person does not need that much intimacy in their life? How to navigate such a situation?
That's a pretty common issue in relationships, and it can be pretty frustrating for both parties if they are not careful. One, set up boundaries and agreements for how much time together you will spend and how much time you will dedicate to other things together. Two, make sure not to guilt trip each other. Both needs to feel good and validated in the relationship. Three, have some compromises where you get some time alone and together. Communicate.
These are all such wonderful points about relationships. Can you summarize everything that we discussed?
I'd say one, establish a good foundation before rushing in. Two, find someone with a similar vision for the future. Three, remember open communication is key. Communication in general and on difficult topics. Four, respect each other and each other's opinions and ideas. Five, know what you need and communicate it in a healthy manner. Six, have a healthy amount of alone time. Seven, have patience and respect each other's pace.
These are all such wonderful points. I really enjoyed our conversation, and it has given me immense clarity in how to improve my own relationships as well as share the knowledge about improving relationships with others.
I'm really happy to hear that you enjoyed our conversation. These are the things I teach people when working as a dating coach, and it's really nice to hear that the insights and knowledge were valuable to you.
All right, bye bye.
Bye bye. Have a lovely day.